Hello everybody, I'm Antonia and this is Noel and we are from Boxtail Soup Theatre Company and we are still in our studio this week. We have been rehearsing The Wind in the Willows. Adam, who worked with us on Gulliver, is also in The Wind in the Willows, so he's been learning the show this week. He's doing an excellent job. We did a lovely run on Friday afternoon and on Friday morning actually, both of which, if there had been an audience in the room, I think we would have been pretty happy.
Yeah.
It was nice. It's really lovely to come back to the show.
Yeah, it is. Really nice. I'm looking forward to doing it now. Now that we've got it back up on its feet again, and we've made, as we said before, we've made some little tweaks and corrections to the props and puppets, and we've also just made a few little trims and tweaks here and there to the script when we came back and revisited it, just to make it a slightly leaner kind of
we realised that because we're touring it straight after we've toured Little Grim Tales, which was aimed at a much younger audience, that because we're going back to some of the same venues, we're likely to get a similar crowd potentially.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to make it so that the show was a little bit too old for those. I mean, we'd still say it isn't a show aimed at slightly older children than Little Grim. Yeah. However, I think now, having trimmed the fat a little bit from it, that if there were those younger ones there, they would be all right and they would enjoy it.
Yeah, and there's no major changes. It was just that there were a few little points here and there where we thought, actually, you know what, that could be a little bit tighter or just a little bit slicker, or
that it could be just a little bit less, because the poetry of the book is absolutely beautiful, but potentially a little bit florid for a 3-year-old, for example. So we're pleased with how it went. It's very nice. It's interesting because we showed you Toad Puppet last week, our large toad, and we showed you the modifications that we made to him, and one of the things we realised in rehearsals that we've had to get used to is that he's probably about an inch shorter.
Yeah.
And that, I think you particularly, because you puppeteer him the most,
I think, the funny thing is that once you've familiarised yourself with a puppet, and especially once you've done a lot of shows with it, then obviously you begin to, much like playing a part, you begin to inhabit that character and to they have certain mannerisms and certain gestures, certain things that you do with them, and all of that very much gets into your body and gets into muscle memory and just becomes second nature. So as silly as it sounds, then to do something even as small as changing the height by an inch means that nothing is quite where you expect it to be, and the movements are all slightly different. So
it's funny because in fact he's actually more comfortable for me.
Right.
When I've had to pick him up,
Which
I've been
makes
like, this is
sense,
nice actually. He's no longer in this kind of slightly weird position, but for you, he's just that fraction too low. And in fact, when you've got him for long periods of time, we try and, luckily because his body is elastic, you actually can pull him up a little bit and make him a bit taller a couple of times for you.
And I mean, he looks great. He definitely, I think the way he looks has definitely improved, and
actually I also think the expression he gets is better.
Yeah, just some of the gestures and things that he makes. So it's just been an interesting few days of adjusting to that, which I'm hoping that I've done successfully now.
Not least because at points there are moments when you've got the head, but either Adam or I is holding the back of the body or doing the other arm or the feet or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's particularly when we're holding the back of the body, it's been getting used to basically not gripping that too hard so that you've still got some freedom of...
And making sure we're working together and not pulling against each other all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
he's looking good.
It is looking good, really good. We thought we might just show you, because I think we mentioned it last week when we showed you little mini Toad, but the Wind in the Willows puppets were the first fabric puppets that we ever made, and we realised we've never really shown them to you, so we thought we would do that. Do you want to pass me Morley?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really it's nice to see them, because when they came back, you can take them.
I don't mind.
He's your little guy. When we came back to use them again, I was just reminded of how beautiful they are, and as generously as you say, they're the first fabric puppets that we made. I might have had some input into the look of them and the design of them, but actually making them was pretty much all down to you. And they're beautiful. They are absolutely lovely.
I remember doing them actually. I remember I got a soft toy out first and sort of looked at how I thought the pattern pieces worked, and then just had a go. I made a rat prototype first. And what's tricky about them is that when you make their heads, you have to make them, obviously you make them, sew them together do you want to sit him down so you don't have to hold him? You have to sew them together inside out and then turn them around the right way. So it's a question of what I found the trickiest bit was getting these little noses in. I remember, especially on one like Molly, because they're a lot of corduroy and the fabric is quite tough.
It's quite tough to work with because it's so thick.
And then obviously the arms and the legs are a bit more straightforward. And then I wanted them to have these sort of slightly sticky out tummies that were nice and cuddly. I think the idea was that the children watching it would feel like their toys had come to life, and that they would want to take one of them home at the end.
Yeah, and that's the aesthetic of the whole show, really, is that a lot of it, the vehicles and stuff that obviously Toad comes across, there's a car and a barge and a train, and we wanted them to have a Toybox look as well, so the whole thing all works really nicely together.
But yeah, they're lovely. I mean, I think it's interesting because obviously having made those, then there are puppets that we've subsequently made, like the one for the music video, the TV Bra Dude, and then Little Gulliver and all of those who are made of the same, they're made in the same vein. He was the first one I made, actually. But yeah, they're very sweet. And they do get a lovely reaction from the children. And they're all a sort of suggestion of the animal. So obviously they're not the fabric, the way the fabric is done. Badgers don't obviously have one stripy leg and one black leg, but I just wanted to give a sense of the animal. And Toady, you saw Toady last week actually. But they've got these braces on the backs of the knees, like other ones that you've seen us make since, which stop the leg from bending the wrong way. Yeah. They also serve as a way to lift the leg if we're double puppeteering, which we do with Mole.
Yeah, to get them to walk along.
This Toad gets flung around a little bit actually, doesn't he?
Does,
He's quite funny. He's a bit of an acrobat. Yeah. And then they're slightly different. I don't know if you can reach the Weasels, but the Weasels are slightly different because they don't have to do as much. So they sit, two of the Weasels sit in the Chief Weasel's jacket, almost in the pockets, and then the other two, and then they basically kind of get flung across the stage in the last
final
battle.
Confrontation.
So they
just needed to be simple
silly
and suggestive
of Weasels.
Weasels and
they really make us laugh, and they're very funny. So there we go. I mean, there's not a huge amount to say about that, other than
of course you have a few little mice.
I do have a few little mice, yes.
They're just a little bit simpler, aren't they? Because they haven't got an articulation.
They haven't got a knee. No, they didn't need a knee. Yeah. But yeah, there's not much to say about them really, except for the fact that they have to be inside out first, then you have to turn them out, which is tricky. And they're patterns that I made myself, so I just kind of guessed. But I'm quite pleased with them. They're rather nice.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely lovely.
And they've lasted quite well, which is because they've done so many shows.
Everybody always wants to take them home with them, so that's got to be a mark of success, definitely.
So yeah, so rehearsals went well. Those are the puppets. I don't think there's that much else to say about this week, really. No,
not really. No, we are going to have a quick run of Willows again tomorrow, probably, and then we'll go back to Gulliver for a couple of days, just to make sure, even though obviously we've done loads of shows of Gulliver in Edinburgh, just to make sure that, we're on top of it, everything looks all right, the set is all right, and we
remember what we're doing.
Yeah. And then on Thursday, we head out and go to Cheltenham for the first performance of the tour.
Yes, we've got 4 performances in Cheltenham, and they're all quite limited now, in fact, I think. So the first night and the Saturday night are on limited availability. Saturday afternoon is sold out. Friday night there are still tickets left, more than the other 2. People don't like Fridays for some reason, so come along on Friday. But they are getting quite limited, so if you are going to come to Cheltenham, please do book. We'd love to see you there. We're very much looking forward to doing the show there.
Yeah, and then the rest of the dates, of course, are up on the website now, so you can find all of the other shows listed on the website for both Winning the Willows and Gulliver.
And if there isn't one near you on this leg of the tour, then we are touring both shows again in the spring, and those dates will be announced relatively soon. We're just firming up the last few ones there. So, as always, if you have enjoyed watching the vlog, please do give us a like, leave us a comment, ask any questions you would like, or subscribe to the channel. Welcome to the new subscribers, as I like to say. And we will see you again next time.
Hello, Mole.
Hello, Rat.
Oh, I like your clothes awfully, old chap.
I beg your pardon, but all this is new to me. So this is a river.
Oh, the river.
And do you really live by the river? Oh, what a jolly life.
By it and with it, on it and in it. It's my world, and I want no other. It's always got its fun and its excitement. Believe me, my young friend, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, quite so worth doing as simply messing about in boats. Simply messing.